Hi, this is Larry. I'm on the road this morning with Rick Turner from Renaissance Guitars. Hi, Rick.
Morning, Larry.
Well, you've built a lot of guitars for a lot of very famous people. Why don't you tell us about this guitar?
This is the third Model 1 guitar that I built, and this one is owned by Lindsey Buckingham of Fleetwood Mac. This was his first Model 1 and has suffered 31 years of road wear, and so I have it back to do some restoration on it and to attempt to make it fly for yet another 30 years or so. When Fleetwood Mac was recording Rumors at the record plant in Sausalito, I got a call from John McVie, the bass player. John had been playing an Olympic bass for a while, one that I had made, and wanted me to come down to the studio and just kind of meet me and do some setup work on the bass and meet Lindsey and the rest of the band. So I went down and we all hit it off very, very well. John subsequently bought 2 more Olympic basses while they were recording the album, including the very first carbon fiber necked instrument, one that I built that year, which was, I believe, 75, 76. And in getting to know them, getting to know the band, one of the things that Lindsey and I found ourselves really connecting on was our musical background, which was basically folk music gone electric. And he, at the time, was playing, on the one hand he'd play a Les Paul, on the other hand he'd play a Strat. And then for stage use, he'd play an Ovation. And in the studio for an acoustic, he played a D18. I started putting preamps in his Stratocaster. It gave him a tremendous amount of overdrive gain into his high-watt amplifiers. It really sounded great, other than the fact that he had about 15 minutes of lead tone, and then the amplifier would literally go up in smoke, because apparently they didn't have any current limiting, and so with all that extra gain going in the front end, it tried to pull more power through the power transformer than it could handle. And so he was blowing up an amplifier a night, which was fun, you know. Anyway, maybe this was 77, at the years. I paid a lot of attention to what Lindsey liked and didn't like about the guitars that he was playing, and started formulating an idea for making a new electric guitar that would combine his ideas with mine and would basically give him the warmth and sustain that you get out of a Les Paul with the clarity that you get out of a Stratocaster. And at the time, there was a lot of criticism of Alembic guitars as sounding too cold and sterile. Most people thought it was the electronics. I came to believe it was not the electronics, but it was the way the instruments were built. Very, very rigid, neck-through body made out of maple and purple heart, which was very good for certain tonal aspects, but also could tend to make things a little on the harsher side. So, in thinking about the wood combinations and so on and other guitars that I liked, I realized that the Les Paul that I liked the most was the original custom, which was an all mahogany body. It didn't have the maple cap that most Les Pauls have. So I thought if I do an all mahogany body, arch the top and the back so that you don't necessarily have any standing waves between parallel surfaces. Combine that with a rigid neck, and then put a rosewood fingerboard on it, which is going to soften things up a little bit. I thought maybe I could come up with a recipe of wood combinations that would achieve the kind of tone that Lindsey was looking for, and that I personally like, which is that warm sustain with clarity thing. By the fall of '78, I'd left Alembic and started up a new company. to make these. And Lindsay at that point had seen the blueprint of the guitar and said, well, when you get one, bring it on down. I'd love to check it out. So I built 3 prototypes. My brother-in-law, who was a junior partner in the company at the time, got number 2. I got number 1. And this is number 3, which I took down to Los Angeles when they were, Fleetwood Mac was in their rehearsal period for the Tuscan tour. Took the guitar down to the sound stage, and Lindsay's guitar tech, Ray Lindsay, who's a good friend of mine, plugged it in, put it up on stage, and we waited for the band to arrive. Lindsay came in first, went up on stage, picked up the guitar, started playing, then put the guitar down for 3 hours. At which point he yelled back to Ray, he said, okay, leave the Les Paul and the Strat and the Ovations at home. This is all I need. And about 5 minutes after that, Nick Fleetwood came up to me and said, okay, Rick, how soon can you have another one? We need a backup. And so that's the story. That's how I got the guitar to Lindsay. And it's been his signature guitar ever since. And he has bought 7 of them over the years. And then he's got another 13 or 14 of our instruments as well. The semi-hollow Renaissance line and so on. I just seem to have a knack for tying into what he likes in guitars. And he's absolutely at the top of my favorite guitar player list.
Well, that is a great story. You're on the road with Larry and Rick Turner.
Thank you.